What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my F1 2021 My Team Career Mode series. We're here for round 11, the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. Zandvoort's a track that I do actually quite like, so I was looking forward to doing this race. We go into the activities. There's only two little spots here, not a lot of time to do things. I decided to actually go for a durability kind of event morale boost on this one. I'm also gonna get the quality control for powertrain, and I'm also gonna go for the build time on the durability. We want to get our facilities up and running a bit better, just to get some more performance out of the car. At the moment, we're kind of, as you can see, stuck in this point where Williams and Haas are we're kind of going on the upward trajectory at the same rate as Williams and Haas, but Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri up ahead are a bit too far up the road. We really need to pull out really just get lucky with not many failing upgrades, because I think we've got quite unlucky with failed upgrades recently. It's getting a little bit better, as you can see there. We got quite a few upgrades come through, all good there, but to be honest, a lot of those were probably redevelopments, so yeah, they probably failed in the first place, and then they have a 0% chance of failing the second time round. So we go into Q1, and yeah, I'm going to be honest, I was actually struggling quite a lot for pace in this one. As you can see here, I'm P19 at the moment. This is my fourth flying lap, and yeah, I was really struggling for pace. I'm not 100% sure at this point if my teammates in front of me or not, but I really just was not. I mean, as you can see, you've got Schumacher and Russell ahead of me, two cars that I really should be ahead of. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, Gasly is back there in P21. I don't know what's happened with him there. He's obviously had a bit of a poor first run, but I imagine he will get through to Q2 no problems in his next run. But yeah, for me, I mean, I'm up on time here. I mean, of course, this is my best lap, but I'm still not up by a lot. I'm pretty sure I'm only up by, it's actually under a tenth there, as I lost some time, but I think I get it a little bit better through this last section, going nearly 2/10 up, just over 2/10 now. But it still wouldn't end up being a great lap, and I don't know what it was, but I just couldn't get the power down. It's P18 there, so that's not enough to get us through to Q2, and yeah, that is the fastest lap we do. Valtteri BOTTAS fastest, no real surprises for Q1 there. And then we look down the grid, yep, looking at everyone there. Pretty sure Gasly makes it through, no problem. And then, yeah, we are P21, so way down the order. Christian Lundgaard, our teammate, gets through to Q2 just about for the first time in his F1 career, so that's awesome to see. But yeah, we're not showing a lot of pace here, unfortunately.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside at races across Europe and throughout the world. Now, at long last, they have a Grand Prix to call their own. It's a warm welcome once again to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. Zandvoort circuit, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout a 2.6-mile lap. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn one. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri BOTTAS. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Sainz, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Vettel, and Pierre Gasly, Ocon, Stroll, Kimi Raikkonen, and Tsunoda, Lundgaard, Mazepin, Daniel Ricciardo, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Mick Schumacher, Russell, Shaw, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
So we are in P21, our teammate is up in P15, he got through to Q2 for the first time in his career so far, so he's showing great pace here. I'm not showing good pace at all, but we are underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. It's actually a pretty good getaway off the line for us. We get a bit of a message from our race engineer saying that the energy store is quite worn. Of course, the energy store was the first part that we had a mechanical failure for in Spain round 2, so the first one of those was kaput straight away within 2 races, and then the second one we've now got to a point where it's wearing out, so we're probably gonna need to take a grid penalty for the next race. So yeah, it should survive alright for this race, but for next race we're probably gonna need to take a grid penalty for that. As you can see, I get it way too wide around that corner. George Russell dies at the inside, a little bit aggressive from the British driver there. He kind of comes through, clatters our front right wheel, but he gets the position, and I mean, yeah, to be fair, I did run a little bit wide there, and he just kind of saw the opportunity and took it, so good on him, kudos to him for doing that. So yeah, we pretty much, we jumped a car off the line, getting up into P20, jumped Russell off the line, and then we've just lost the position again. So coming around to the end of this lap, we're still where we started in P21, stuck behind Russell. Latifi's behind us. Our teammate is still a fair way up the grid. As you can see though in the top left, our tyres, we've got mediums. A lot of the cars around us are on hards, so we should really be carving our way through the field here. As we go for an overtake around the outside of George Russell, we want to get that position back. He tries keeping it up the inside, keeping his nose in, but he doesn't manage to keep it. We get the position, we're back up into P20, and now we want to go chasing after Giovinazzi and Schumacher and Mazepin in front. As we look at the start again, Max Verstappen up in 3rd place. He gets a great run into turn 1, as he's been doing for a lot of this season so far, getting great runs off the start. He gets alongside Lewis Hamilton into the first turn, and they are side by side all the way through here, but it looks like Max has just about got that P2 position. He seems to be doing this a lot this season, getting really good runs up into, you know, towards the front in 1st or 2nd place at the start of the race, but then he seems to kind of lose it towards the end. So let's see what happens with him. Of course, Valtteri BOTTAS way up front as usual. On to lap 3 here, and we're making a move on Mick Schumacher. No, sorry, it's Antonio Giovinazzi in front in the Alfa Romeo. He's quite a way down from his teammate Kimi Raikkonen, who's where is he? I mean, he's up in what is that, 14th place, and our teammate actually up in 13th place at the moment, so he's doing a great job up there. We get the job done on Giovinazzi though, and now it's the 2 Hasses running 18th and 17th, so to be honest, not doing too bad for them there. Or is it the fact that Giovinazzi is just really not where he should be? I think that might be more of the case. So next up we've got Schumacher. He is the first Haas we come to. Both Hasses on track next to each other here. Mazepin is the one ahead, which is actually interesting. I mean, in this season of mine, Mazepin seems to have the overwhelming pace over Schumacher, which is interesting to see considering what it is. It's the other way around in real life, really. But we are going to get the move done on Schumacher. We're going to go to the inside there, but he defends very harshly right up against the wall, forces us to go around the outside, but we did it on Giovinazzi, we did it on Russell, we've done it on Schumacher as well. I mean, turn 1, it's the best overtaking opportunity on this track. I don't think this track is the best for overtaking. I do quite enjoy the track though. I think it's a fun track to drive. However, yeah, for some reason in this race I've struggled quite a lot with pace. We then go for a dive up the inside of Mazepin, and we just about get the job done that time. Yeah, that time we're doing it up the inside, not the outside, so a good little overtake there for sure. And then we've just got to we're just kind of in clean air now. Like I said, we're on the medium tyres, everyone else around us is on hards, so we now start pulling away from Mazepin, but we're not really catching Tsunoda a whole lot, so we really need to put our foot down a little bit more to catch up to that Alpha Tauri. Yeah, there's quite a bit of work to be done there. We keep going here. We have a change in what's the word? Pit stop change, strategy change. We were originally going mediums to hards, but I don't know if it's because of my pace or what, but we're just obviously not chewing up the tyres like the team expected we would, and they're deciding that we're going to go a bit longer on the mediums and we're going to go on to softs for the end of the race. So we could be looking quite punchy at the end of this race. Looking up to the first round of pit stop, we've got Esteban Ocon. It looks like he has managed to get the undercut done on Carlos Sainz. They come out of the pits side by side there, but Ocon, I reckon he's done an undercut there, potentially, and yeah, got the position there, because I think he started in the top 10, so probably started on softs, now onto the hard tyres. So yeah, it's a good strategy there from Alpine and from Esteban Ocon to get ahead of this train here with Sainz, Stroll and Alonso. Esteban Ocon now at the head of that train with Lando Norris just up the road. Another on-track battle going on here is Sergio Perez. It's Red Bull versus AlphaTauri as he goes up the inside on Pierre Gasly into turn 1. They're now side by side through this section here. Lots of action going to be going on through this section throughout this race, and they're still side by side. As you can see, Charles Leclerc there just kind of watching, waiting in the background to seize an opportunity to try and get the positions on these two. They are still side by side around here, though. Perez has just about got it up the inside, and he forces his way through, gets a good line, and yeah, he's got the position on Gasly. Perez is up into 4th place. On to lap 13, 15, I can't really tell, it's a bit blurry on my screen. And yeah, we're just kind of getting around here. As you can see though, we're catching way up to the back of Daniel Ricciardo now. He came in for his pit stop, started a fair way down the grid because of a grid penalty. I think he was in like 17th. But I've also heard on the radio, I don't think I have the clip of it, but I heard something saying that Ricciardo is slow. He's got a problem. So as you can see, we're catching right up to him now. He's on the hard tyres. He's come into his pit stop, so maybe, you know, the hard tyres are taking a little while to heat up and bed in. And our medium tyres are still pretty decent by this point, but are definitely getting to the point where we're going to need to change them soon. But that McLaren, he has a mechanical issue. I've heard it on the radio, so we're actually catching him and looking to overtake him fairly soon as we come up this fast, kind of somewhat twisty section here. We get a little bit on the curb and get an awful twitch, and I just about managed to save it. That could have ended in disaster, but I just about managed to save it there. As we look at a replay, I've just kind of, I think it's because I'm in the dirty air of Ricciardo, and I also get my front right on that curb a little bit there. It just sends my car into a bit of a skip, and yeah, I just have to really wrestle the car to make sure that we don't have a big accident there, because that could have been a race-ending crash. Still on the back of Daniel Ricciardo, I think this is 2 laps later as we manage to recover our pace back up to the back of him from that little incident, and we're at a point here where we can probably go, we're close enough now where we can go for the overtake at the end of this lap down the front straight. So we're right up the back of him, not getting DRS just yet. ERS deployed now, DRS is also deployed, and as you can see, the pace is much more with that mechanical failure he's also got. He tries to keep it around the outside, but he just can't quite do it. He's probably a little bit annoyed that he's getting overtaken by a car that's way down the grid. I mean, the McLaren is like the 3rd fastest car at the moment, so pretty bad for him. But then literally just around the corner from when we overtake him, I'm pretty sure it might be the next lap, I can't remember, he has a yellow flag. His car is done for, and we will see the message pop up in just a second that Daniel Ricciardo is out of the session. He is retiring. His car has failed him. He's been living with that mechanical issue for quite some time. It's now taken its toll, and it has kicked him out of the race. As you can see here, gets up to 6th gear and then just loses all power. Nothing he can do. He's just kind of trundling along. A little bit of smoke coming out of his car, but not a massive train like we sometimes see. And he's just going to have to park up and retire from the race, as on the next lap we just go past here. He's still there on the right of the track, just parked up. There he is. So yeah, bad luck for Daniel Ricciardo. I think that's his 3rd DNF now, 2 of those being mechanical failures, one of them the crash at Silverstone. Up next, and Pierre Gasly is having all the action here, but not really the action he wants, because he's getting overtaken this time by Charles Leclerc. Sergio Perez has gone way up the grid now. He's forward his way up, but Leclerc has been stuck behind Pierre Gasly for quite a few laps, and he's now getting the pass done. Norris is actually behind them here. I don't know how that happened, because Norris was in front of them when they were having that battle earlier, but as you can see, Gasly is not giving up easily, and it's actually pretty much the exact same overtake that Perez did on Gasly a few laps earlier. And then Norris actually has a little look up the inside of Gasly there too. They get side by side, but ultimately Gasly manages to keep the position, and Leclerc gets up in front of him. We come on to lap 24, and we are now into the pits for our one and only stop of this race onto soft tyre. So we've done a pretty long stint on the mediums, and we're just going to try and rush to the end on the softs. We're going to come out of the pits behind our teammate. However, I think we've gained quite a lot, because he was up into like P13 at one point. We are now in P18, now it's P17 after some cars have come in. And yeah, we've got our teammate Christian Lundgaard in front of us. We haven't battled him on track a whole lot throughout this career mode, so perhaps here we're gonna have a battle. We're on the softs, he's on the hards, so strictly speaking we should have a pretty good tyre advantage here. But we'll see how this goes. We're very, very close up to the back of him. You can already see the closing speed. ERS is enabled, so is DRS, and I mean, he doesn't really put up too much of a fight. I guess he's probably thinking, I don't want to, you know, dwindle my team, and also after this race would be the contract renegotiation, so he probably wants to be in a good way for that. Then, however, onto this lap, we get a bit of a concerning radio message.
Just yet, but we've seen a problem at our end. We're looking into it.
It's the dreaded message once again. We've got a problem, we're looking into it. That usually follows bad news. We head through here and we get the DRS is actually been disabled, so I thought, oh, maybe that's the issue. It's a bit of an inconvenience, not the end of the world, however.
Okay, looks like a mechanical failure. We're going to have to ask you to find a safe spot to retire. Sorry about that.
Turns out the DRS was not the issue that my team were telling me about. The engine's buggered again. And it's our third DNF of the series from a mechanical failure. We DNF'd in not that long ago at all, in Hungary 2 rounds ago, and we're DNFing here again, so yeah, not a lot of luck for us in the durability department.
And a fantastic win for Mercedes. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So Valtteri BOTTAS wins the Dutch Grand Prix. It's not a surprise at all. By the way, when it shows the 3 cars there on the podium, can I just say that they've had a bit of an issue, because it should have been the Mercedes 1-2 and the Red Bull in 3rd. But it always puts the 3rd and the 2nd place car, it switches them over. Don't know why that is. That would be nice if Codemasters / EA, I suppose, could fix that. But yeah, it's another win for Bottas. He's absolutely dominating. 2nd for Hamilton and 3rd place for Verstappen. He couldn't keep on with that 2nd place ahead of Hamilton that he had at the start of the race. We're all the way down in 21st. Our teammate Christian Lundgaard up in 15th, so I think that's probably well, it's not the best result he's had, because he had a P10 at Silverstone, but it's a good result from him nonetheless. And yeah, not really any changes here. Bottas now leads the championship by 94 points over Lewis Hamilton. It's kind of ridiculous. That's just a crazy margin. And then constructors, there's no big changes here at all. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.